Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning. I am here in Denver, Colorado, so it's 11, so it's almost afternoon. So welcome. We have a lovely, cool fall day. It's going to warm up a little bit more. It was actually pretty chilly yesterday. I don't think it got above 50. So definitely that fall weather is coming. And I love the question, would you rather run through a field of sunflowers or jump in a pile of leaves? And I know a lot of you we were talking in the chat about maybe my definition of run isn't quite the same as it used to be. So maybe it's more stroll through a field of sunflowers. And I will say, thinking about the jumping in the pile of leaves, I realized we just xeriscaped our yard. Here in Colorado, we have a lot of drought issues, and so they incentivize you to get rid of the lawn. But we still have a big tree, and I realized, oh no, I'm not going to be able to make a big giant leaf pile and jump in anymore. We're going to have to do something else. We'll have a leaf pile in the street, I guess, maybe, but because the leaves are still there. So welcome. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. We are going to look at a couple pages in your October journal. So a few housekeeping details. Be sure you set your chat to everyone so that everyone can see. Otherwise, it just goes to the host and panelist. And if you're on a phone, sometimes you'll set it to everyone, and then you'll post something and then it jumps back every time for some obnoxious reason. I don't know, it's some Zoom thing. So just kind of keep an eye on that, because otherwise the only ones who can see your posts are myself and my fabulous stage manager here with me today, Jennifer Ogilvie. She is coming to us from Texas, where I think she is watching on the side some of the college games there. So hopefully things go her way today. The Red River rivalry. I'm not a big football fan, so I can't really speak to that, but I know there's lots of fun football going on today. And so everyone who is here today is entered into the self-care gift raffle. So once a month, from all the folks who attend a social, they do a drawing, a random drawing, and send a gift basket, a little self-care gift basket. So the more socials that you attend, the more entries you have for the month. So please feel free to attend as many socials as you would like. It's all part of your Sonder membership. And we love having folks here with us. So let's jump right in. So as you know, this month's theme is surrender. And I think for some of us, when we first see that word, maybe it has a little bit of a negative connotation, right? And some of us kind of equate surrendering with giving up. And I have a few quotes here, just a few little things to kind of help you maybe reframe some of that thinking. So surrender feels peaceful. It's often accompanied by a sense of relief, while giving up often feels hopeless and like a defeat, right? Surrender involves continuing to take action steps when appropriate, while giving up means shifting all your energy elsewhere. And surrender is admitting you might not have all the answers, and there could be another way. But giving up shuts down new possibilities. And so I know Steph is saying, loving the theme. It's exactly what I need. I know a lot of folks have really been saying, like, this is really, really important, kind of really what I need. It can be tough. It can be difficult. And so I'm glad that you're here with us today to tackle one of the more difficult pages. The letter last night's social was about the journal page and the little drawing page that's next to it. And we'll have another one of those coming up later in the month. And, you can always rewatch some of the different socials on the YouTube channel. But as Jennifer's saying, the most difficult areas are where we really can grow, right? We grow when we get out of our comfort zone. So some of this may feel a little out of your comfort zone, and that's okay, right? Really kind of hang on to that, push through, and see how that can help, right? And help things change a little bit, but also being gentle with yourself, giving yourself grace as you kind of move forward. And as Jennifer's saying, these pages don't have to be finished today, right? You've got all month to kind of work on them. So maybe this is just kind of giving you some ideas. Maybe you want to use some Post-it notes to jot down some thoughts, and then you want to work on it when you feel like you have a little more time as you're working. So lots of different ways to do this, right? There's lots of different ways to sonder. So that's the great thing about our journal. So we're going to do a little surrender warm-up activity. And then we're going to work on that surrender letter on page 16 of your journal. And then we're going to work on that fun acrostic poem on page 19. And I have lots of fun examples from folks who have already finished this and posted in Sonder Club. And remember, you can do lots of these, right? You can kind of, if you've already done your acrostic poem, maybe you want to whip up another one, right? Maybe you get some good ideas from folks in the chat. So let's dive into this first. Again, I like to call it kind of a little bit of a warm-up page. And yeah, Jenny's saying, never plan to finish these pages during the social, which is absolutely fine, and is struggling a little bit with the theme. Totally get it, right? And hopefully today, when you see some of the things that people will put in chat, some of the things that I say, some of the things that we go over might help you reframe and help you feel a little more grounded with that theme. So what we're going to do first is we're going to draw a set of stairs. So I will say you can turn to a blank page, but I know everyone in the Sonder Club lately has been saying, I'm out of blank pages. They do the daily ritual, the daily journal prompt. They're coming to the socials and they're running out of pages. So I will suggest that if you want more blank pages in our journals, send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com and say, we really need more blank pages, right? There's just so much more work we need to do, because they collect all of those suggestions and they do act on those. So it's fine to post that kind of stuff in Sonder Club, but if you send the email to hello@silkandsonder.com, it gets logged. And so sometimes that's where we can take action and help you get those. Yeah, and a companion journal, scratch pad area is great. Again, post-it notes, right? Whatever works. So we're going to find a space where we can draw these stairs, and I'll show you my little example here in a second. So we're going to imagine ourselves climbing the stairs, right? And at the top of these stairs are all these new opportunities that we're welcoming into our life, these new things, maybe some different areas that we want to see. And then on each step, we're going to write one thing that will help us reach the top of those stairs, right? So maybe like one of the stairs is letting go of anxiety. One of them is asking friends for comfort, checking in on Sonder Club, right? So different things on these stairs. So I use that little scratch pad space because I thought it worked pretty well for a little set of stairs. I didn't write a ton. So if you're wanting to write like full sentences or something bigger, you might want to get a bigger space, or maybe your writing is a little tinier than mine. I tend to like fill up the space and then have to get kind of scrunchy there at the end. So here's my steps, my stairs as I go up. So different things on each stair that will help me kind of get to a new place. Getting better sleep. I struggle with sleeping through the night. So doing some work on that, asking for help when I need it, going with the flow, slowing down, dancing, getting outside, laughing, reading, running, and then I put me, right? And I drew my little stick figure. That's about as artistic as I can get sometimes in these, right? So draw that set of stairs. Let us know what kinds of things, what are you putting on those steps, right? What are you writing in each step that will help you reach the top of your stairs? All right, so I'm going to play a little bit of music, let you work on that. Please feel free, comments, ideas in the chat, and we'll pop back in and check on you here in just a moment. Hey, lots of great ideas, different things that people are going to do with their steps. Some people had maybe some specific things, like some self-care things that they were going to do on each step. Um, and Steph is saying, but she just realized she's not good with steps. Maybe it could be, maybe you just have like little rocks that you're walking on, Steph. I know your ankle is probably still giving you fits, not wanting to go up steps. People had some different things. Rachel, I'm just kind of scrolling through here really quickly so I can find some of those. I saw a lot of people had the better sleep on there too, right? As a step to kind of help get up to that top. Rachel is trying to cultivate more of a grateful mindset. So on her steps, she wrote, enjoy the little things, go for a walk at the beach, smile at someone, donate to a charity, and find a service project. I love that idea. Different ways to kind of help you feel more grateful, right? Which definitely is going to feel better. And again, some of these steps we have to repeat, right? So somebody was saying, like, if I put, let go of fear, should that be on the first step or should that be on the last step? Or maybe it's on like every other step, right? Kind of thinking about what are these things, because there's a lot of things that we have to do that maybe isn't a one-time thing, right? That we kind of go through. And it could be fun if you want to draw these steps and have the different things and maybe color them in as you go up those steps. And it, doesn't have to be in order. Maybe it could be kind of out of order, and then see at the end of the month, did you color in all your steps? Yeah, and Jennifer's doing the 2 steps forward, 1 step back, sometimes doing the cha-cha, right? So lots of different ideas. So hopefully you have kind of some fun ideas, some thoughts, some things that you can do when you think about getting to the top and welcoming in maybe some new opportunities. Maybe if each step is something that you want to surrender, maybe you want to surrender the need to be on the phone, the scrolling, the checking social media, that kind of thing, because that's going to help open up some space for you at the top of those stairs to do something else, right? So lots of really good ideas, lots of fun things to do. All right, let's flip into our journals. Let's get on to page 16. And this is one we often have a letter to ourselves in each, it's not always in every month, but frequently we do kind of this write a letter to yourself. And I know some folks, me included, it feels a little awkward, and it isn't necessarily kind of a easy thing to do. So I'm going to give you some ideas for things to do. But the prompt is on this one is you're going to write a letter to yourself. And you're going to talk a little bit about what you're holding on to that you need to forgive yourself for. So there's some different ways that you can go about this. Oops, over here. So you could just straight out write it as a letter to yourself. You could also write it as a letter to your younger self, maybe something you want to tell you wish you could have told your younger self, or you wish you would have known when you were younger. Or maybe it's a letter from your younger self to you now, maybe talking about, a lot of times we develop habits and strategies and things that we do to get us through some tough times. And then we don't realize that when those tough times are done, we can let them go. We can surrender them to something else, and we keep doing them and they aren't serving us anymore. So maybe you can write it from your younger self to say, while this particular thing was really helpful to you when you were my age, now that you're older and you have gone through that tough time, you can let that go and let something else in. I always suggest you can always write it to yourself. Maybe it's a letter from your dog, or a letter from your cat, or a letter from one of your little pets that wants to kind of tell you about things that they think you need to let go of, things you need to forgive yourself for. You can write it as you would a letter to a friend or a family member, right? Oftentimes, have you noticed sometimes we're much harder on ourselves than we are on our friends? We say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend, maybe to a family member. I shouldn't say that, but right. So sometimes we're much harder on ourselves. So think of it maybe as a friend, writing a letter to a friend who has the same types of things. You can also, and Jennifer had this idea, and I thought this was really great. You can write the letter to your particular situation. So you can write the letter to your anxiety, right? Dear anxiety, while I appreciate that you're trying to help me do this, I don't need you for this, et cetera, right? You could write it to your guilt, to the binge eating, to the emotions or the feelings that are weighing you down. Dear self-doubt, right? What do you want to say to self-doubt? What do you want to say to these things? Or that thing that you don't want to let define you anymore, right? So again, different kinds of ideas. You can also just do some bullet points here. Oh, Alexandra is saying, going to write a letter to my body and mind from my soul. I love that. Yes, and someone says, Rachel's saying, I'm going to need some Kleenex today. Yes, this is a potentially a tissue activity. So if you want to have those, but it's good, right? This is a good time to really kind of, you can also free write about what you're holding on to, something that you have, maybe something that's heavy, again, something weighing you down, something that really is that you want to acknowledge, and writing things down help us acknowledge it, and then we can let it go. It's kind of like we set it down and then we can send it off, right? So again, I'm going to play some music. I'll check in on you. I know people are getting lots of really good ideas and thoughts here in the chat. So we'll kind of play some music, let you work on this, work on chat, and then we'll check back in and see how everybody's doing. Okay, just want to check in. I see lots of good conversations in the chat, things that people are wanting to let go of, things that people are, kind of struggling with maybe a little bit. Someone's quitting a toxic, stressful job and scared of not having a paycheck, right? Even though they have a supportive spouse, it's scary. The idea of not having a job can be really scary, right? And so kind of trying to address that. What do you do with those kinds of feelings? And sometimes, again, just writing down, what are you feeling? You're feeling scared. You're feeling maybe like you aren't contributing. Maybe you're feeling like, what if I never get another job? My husband was laid off in 2019 and then struggled to find another job in 2020. And then COVID hit, and things were really kind of rocky. And so it's hard to kind of keep that positive outlook when you're kind of struggling with some different things. So sometimes, again, just writing down what you're feeling so that you can acknowledge that. Surrendering guilt and shame for things that you wish you would have done differently, right? How often do we think about the past and, oh, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have done these things. But unless someone invents a time machine, we're not going to have any way to go back and change those things, right? And Jennifer had made some really good suggestions here in the chat about separating the thing or the feeling or the action or the emotion or the situation from who you are, right? Write a letter to guilt. It doesn't define you. And then, really kind of thinking about how to kind of let things flow. And then I think Jennifer had also said something that was really good about your feelings aren't right or wrong. They just are, right? You can't say like, oh, I feel this way and that's wrong. I shouldn't feel guilty, or I shouldn't feel happy, or I shouldn't feel this, right? Just really kind of thinking about that's just what it is, and this is just how you feel, and no one can tell you how you feel, and no one can say that you should feel one way or you shouldn't feel another way. And sometimes the way we feel can change, right? Sometimes I feel guilty for not feeling guilty, right? Like I think like, oh, I think society tells me I should be doing this, but I don't want to do that, so I'm okay with that. But now maybe I feel guilty because I'm not doing the thing that society wants me to do, right? So feelings can be really complicated. So just spending some time just kind of writing this out is perfect. So again, I'm going to let you keep working on that and play some more music. Again, the chat has been great. I know folks are posting some of the different comments and thoughts and some encouraging things that they're struggling with. And I think one of the other things that's helpful sometimes is seeing that you're not the only one struggling with some of these issues. You're not the only one struggling with some of these feelings can be really helpful. I think sometimes we think we're alone, like we're the only one who has these feelings. We're the only one who has these issues. And I think that's not true, right? So many of us have to deal with a lot of these things. So just kind of seeing that, and I'll let you kind of work through that in the chat, and then we'll check back in and see how everyone's doing. All right. So these socials are always so amazing because I love the things that people are able to share, how people are able to really use these pages and or repurpose the pages, right? Like Laura Lee said that she's trying to make the connection to surrendering and forgiving self, but ended up going an entirely different tangent with lots of tears. It was very cathartic. Talk about repurposing a page. I love that. And that is perfect, right? It's about what we need right now. So sometimes trying to force the prompt, if it's like it's just not resonating and you just kind of start doing some free writing and then you realize how you can kind of take that into a different place. So I love that. It's so awesome. And I think it was Crystal that said when she wrote her letter and then Crystal had said it, wrote the letter and read it aloud, right? Read it aloud to herself, and then so much power in the exercise for her. So that's a great idea. Write your letter to yourself and then read it out loud. See how it feels. So hopefully that activity, and again, you don't have to stop with this now. You can continue it on later. I hear from several people that they always tell their family that they tell the family socials are 2 hours, and so they hang out with us for an hour, and then they just play some music when it's over, and they keep working for another hour, so the family leaves them alone. So we will never tell that we're not still with you for that second hour, right? You can give yourself that time to write, and again, sometimes this is you do a little bit and then you leave it, right? Let yourself go do something else. Maybe take a nap, maybe go for a walk, maybe do something. And then later on tonight or tomorrow or later this month, you kind of come back to it and it's had a chance to kind of marinate a little bit. So this is fantastic. And I love the work that everyone's doing. The support that everyone's giving is just fabulous. So keep kind of hang on to that. And I love this fall, sweet fall. I've been enjoying this gal's artwork. It's very pretty and she has lots of pretty pumpkins and wreaths and those kinds of things. So we're going to move on to our acrostic poem to take us through the rest of the hour. So these are always fun. I love seeing what people come up with. This is on page 19. And the idea is you are using each letter of the word surrender to either come up with a word or a phrase, or you can make it a full poem. Lots of different ways to approach this. So the nice thing is lots of people have really been enjoying this so far. So I have lots of examples from Sonder Club to show you, and I'll kind of cycle through these, but do kind of what feels good. And maybe kind of from the last exercise, maybe you have now you're going to have some ideas for some different things. So you can see over on the left-hand side, she's saying, surrender. Under what circumstances? Ready to redeem and enjoy my life. Never look back. Decide how to live. End this internal battle. Remember who I am. Right. So beautiful little acrostic poem there. The one on the right, single words, right? Self, unburden, release, rest, exit, new spirit, direction, embrace, resolve. Beautiful. The one in the middle, complete sentences, which is, as an educator, I always think of some of when we work with some of our younger kiddos with in their literacy class, we try to get them to talk in full sentences. So I love the educator part of me loves this idea of shift my schedule to create space for the things that fill my cup and are worth my time. Unlearn the idea that I can control everything, release the things that no longer serve me, remember what my true priorities are, end relationships and habits that aren't good for me. Notice when something or someone is weighing me down. Discover how freeing it is to move on, accepting the past, embrace the sense of calm and knowing what's done is done. Realize how beautiful it is to let things go. So these, I love the person on the left kind of brought in last month's theme of balance and our yin yang exercise. I did one social and Jennifer did one social on the yin yang, which I highly recommend if you haven't had a chance to do. Super fun, super interesting, but they have kind of on the left-hand side, these ideas of releasing these different areas, self-doubt, useless feelings, repeating stories, all these different things. And then they have more of the balance on the other side, right? Of how you can kind of balance those out. So fun way to kind of do that. Then the person again on the right, surrender control, understand and console, relinquish past pain, resign and start again. Everyone has a bad day. No is okay to say, do your best, even get some rest, restore your peace. I love that. And even more, right? Again, kind of fun, different ways. So what I'll do is I'll play some music, let you work on those. You're welcome to tell us in the chat what some things are that you're putting down for yours. And I'll just kind of cycle through some of these to keep the inspiration going. And we'll see what happens. So have fun with this. It doesn't have to be super intense and serious, or it can be super intense and serious, right? Like whatever you feel like you need right now. Excellent work, everyone. You've done the things that were coming through in the chat were so amazing. Some of the different ways to approach this poem. Some folks kept it very lighthearted. Some people said it wound up a bit heavy. And again, really, it's what you need in the moment. So don't think there was a right way or a wrong way or a better way or any of that. Your way is the way that is right for you at this time. And I loved Jennifer reminded us that it's a good idea when we work on these pages sometimes to come back and revisit it. So I like to set reminders in my phone to do the currently page. So that one that's kind of in the middle where it says currently I am loving, it's on page 39. So, currently I'm loving, feeling, enjoying, anticipating. So I always set a reminder on the 15th to go and do that page. But that's a great idea too, to kind of go back and revisit some of those activities that we've done, see if anything has changed or any new thoughts. And as Angela pointed out, yeah, I need to go back and revisit because I have these great breakthroughs. And then I forget about them and I go back to our old habits, right? I mean, the human psyche is very much trained to go back to path of least resistance, right? So it really takes a push for us to try to do something different, to create different habits, to do different things. So anytime we can set those reminders, fabulous. And I love that some folks said, I usually avoid these pages. Laura, I do too. But when you need to facilitate, you have to attack them. So this has been, it's a great opportunity. And I definitely think the pages I tend to avoid are the pages I probably need to work on the most. So challenge yourself a little bit again, right? Coming out of that, comfort zone to work on these things, right? That's why we're here, is want to kind of work on things and learn and grow. And that's the fun part. So believe it or not, we are at the end of our hour. You have all done some fabulous work here on this Saturday morning. I give you permission to go and do whatever you would like to enjoy the rest of Saturday, be it hang around outside or take a nap or do work some more in your journal. We have the QR codes for some different things. Taking the survey, you'll also get an email that will have you do that. Please let us know what kinds of things you want to see. What do you want us to work on in the social? I know we do a lot of talking. We've talked about like spoon theory. I think in this one was some things that were in the chat, the eat the frog idea. So if there's ever any of those kinds of things that you want to tackle, pop those in the survey. Also, if there's any times that work better for you, please let us know times and time zones. So if like 6 p.m. Eastern time, you would let us know that so we can kind of keep an eye on that. We've got the 10 for 10. So refer a friend, you get $10, your friend gets $10. Hopefully everyone's in Sonder Club. Feel free to post some pictures from today if you'd like. Again, totally voluntary. You don't have to, not expected to. And then the ever popular YouTube link for the social recordings. Make sure that you bookmark that so you can get to it because you can't search it and you can't just go to Silk and Saunders YouTube page. That usually takes a few days to get those posted up there. And sometimes the music is taken out due to copyright issues and there is no chat, but at least it's there to kind of give you that time to walk through. So thank you all so much. As you know, Jennifer does a lot of our coloring socials. We've got some of those coming up. We've got lots of socials here in the month of October. Jennifer's going to pop the link in there for the Eventbrite. Again, sign up for as many of those as you would like. We love to see you, even if you can only stay for part of the time, right? We love to have you there. So have a fabulous Saturday. Have a great weekend. And we will hopefully see you